On. We're live. Hi, Trish. Hi, Liv.
Hi, girls. Good to
Nice
see
meet
you.
Liv.
Good to see you. Nice to meet you.
Wow, I'm here with two of my favorite people. So this is a really exciting interview for me. I'm here with my partner, Trish, and my dear friend, Liv Cummings, who I wouldn't even say random or coincidentally because I don't believe in that, but universe put us together. One night I was at a Christmas party at a restaurant, and her partner came in, and they were going to eat at the restaurant, but there was a Christmas party going on, and I was like, they'll never know, just join. So she joined a work party. We became friends, and that's how that story is. So I really wanted to do this interview today because Liv really does exemplify what we here at YOUnicorn Way are talking about with True North. True North.
We need to get you a TikTok.
I know. Kim was just saying that. I need a Unicorn Way and a True North.
Yeah.
Get them. We'll get you some stickers and everything.
We'll get you set up.
Yes.
But she exemplifies True North. Her spirit and smile are contagious.
Oh.
She lights up every room she walks in. She's come and stayed here at my Airbnb with friends, and the friends she brought lit up the room as well. So she just kind of sparkles everywhere she goes. And so I really, really wanted to get her on a True North interview. So thank you for being here, Liv. I really appreciate it.
That is so sweet, and thank you very much. And I feel the exact same way about you. So like attracts like, energy is all energy, and that's why us girls are all here together today.
Yep.
I agree. So why don't we just jump right in? What is your True North story?
My True North story, man, I can remember, I don't know, I guess maybe even as a little kid, even as a little girl, I kind of always, I guess you could say I was kind of a black sheep. Like I never really wanted to follow the herd. I never, my mom would always say, you dance to the beat of your own drummer, like I never quite, I fit in everywhere, but I never really fit into a certain peg, like
we're niched.
Exactly. But so I kind of wandered through. I've always been into, I studied to be a holistic health practitioner, an esthetician, massage therapist. I was a CNA for a long time. So I've always wanted to help people, like always my whole life, but I never quite found that passion or, like, no, this isn't quite it, or this isn't quite right. Or I just couldn't find myself. You know what I mean? So, and me being a Libra, relationships, partnerships are very important to me. So, sometimes I would fall into the wrong relationship. I've been married 2 times. But I could never, I was always searching for that partnership, that completeness, that empathetic, sympathetic love that I was searching for my whole life through different relationships and partnerships, but then realized I had to find that in myself first.
Ding, ding, ding.
Bing! Yeah. Bells and whistles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so now that you found that, right? And what, maybe let's backtrack a little bit and say, what steps did you take personally to what we would call bushwhacking the trail? What tools have you found useful for yourself on this journey?
So I think when I finally, it was in my last marriage, and I had everything. I had the cars, the houses, I could not want for anything. And I still felt dead inside, right? I felt like empty. I felt like, is this what life is? And that's when I kind of had my spiritual awakening, and, and I went, through like a dark night of the soul type of deal. And so this was in 2014. So this is just, it was not, it was not that
too long ago. Yeah.
And I started and I reconnected with an old girlfriend, and she was on a similar journey and of spirituality. And I had always followed like Abraham Hicks and Wayne Dyer and Les Brown. And like, so I've always been into, like, I've always known. And that's the thing that pissed me off the most is I knew cognitively in my friggin' brain, I knew what I had to do. But so I was kicking myself constantly going, I know the law of attraction. I know the law, gratefulness and but, and that's why it pissed me off, because it's like, but it's not working for me. So
I'm not getting it.
Yep. So then I beat myself up for not getting it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right.
I do know what you mean.
That's a deep, deep shame and punishment reward program, and we had to go through that pretty thickly.
Yeah. And that creates anxiety and panic and sleeplessness and what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing? So it's a hamster wheel of constant. I know what I should be doing. I practice this and but it's subconsciously there's blocks is what it boils down to. So I began, my spiritual, after my dark night of the soul, spiritual awakening, like moment. And I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I can't live this life of being a Stepford wife is what I call it. Being in this fake life, in this fake fucking relationship. Sorry. But
okay, you can cuss on this show.
Of who what's not right with my soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once I realized, and believe me, the whole process was hard and difficult, and financially, and going through counseling and that it was just like, no, you can't convince me of what my heart feels. You cannot convince me of who I am. You can't try to brainwash me of my true north and my true who I really am. Even though you can send me to that psych, therapist and that counselor, and they're the best marriage counselor in the world. No.
So was it kind of like everything was put in your lap, that the problem was yours, as opposed to?
Yep.
Sounds narcissistic, which that word is thrown around a lot with, and I'm not, is commercialized at this point, but that's a trait of everything.
Exactly.
And you're just crazy. You need help.
Or selfish, or you're going to regret this. Like, why would you leave me? That was my whole, leaving my marriage 2 and 14. I get it.
Oh, in 2014 as well?
Yep.
Funny. Interesting.
I left.
There might have been some eclipse or something going on then. Some portal opening.
I knew at Christmas of 13, and I was out of the building in April 1st of 14, and the divorce was final on September 26th and 14.
See? So there was some sort of empowerment going on, because, it's very similar timeline.
Yeah. The
sure.
upset was, I think some of us just got kind of shaken out of the illusion, because it was like a switch went off for me. I was married for 18 years.
Yep.
And this man was my life. Like, I never imagined, and I just was like done not being as important to him as I thought that was. And it was like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah.
Exactly.
There was no going back.
Exactly. And that's what happened to me, Trish, is that once that switch flipped, nobody can convince me of no. So you could try to send me to any counselor, any therapist, any No, I'm going to tell you the exact same thing, that it's not true in my heart, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's amazing how we can really just lie to ourselves. And I saw a meme the other day: ignore the red flags in the beginning, you pay the price later.
Right.
And I think that's part of, you know, we want to be in love. We want to nurture. We are so looking for that. And I've found, you know, marriage is an interesting thing, isn't it? Like it's different than just a relationship. I think we will tell ourselves lies and ignore things. So, and you know, we just repress.
There's so much stigma in breaking that contract. Right? Like, because it puts everything financial, physical, emotional, everything wrapped around that one agreement.
Right.
And
right.
everything we're bamboozled into believing that everything is contingent upon that. Like, I
blame Disney.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, as little girls, right?
The princess and yep. You know, we're gonna get this savior and right. You know,
and even that, think about the government. You know, the government's completely involved.
Right. It's so much harder to
not government.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And that was part of my reason for you know, I told my husband, I said, I'm not leaving you because I don't love you anymore. I'm leaving you because neither one of us are able to love each other or ourselves in the way that we need to be. And our habits and configuration of how we have performed together is done. Like, it all needs to wash down the drain, the financial, the like everything. I don't know what happens in 25 years if we're 80 and sitting on a beach, but we're not going to be Mr. and Mrs. Davis anymore.
Right.
Because that shit has to like implode.
Absolutely. And sometimes for things to come together, they have to completely disassemble, but start from a different foundation.
Because it's almost like trying to like take 3 walls off of a house and rebuild a house and you left 1 wall, right? Like, no, you just need to fucking mow that fucker down and do something different, till the ground, you know, because there's just too much baggage. There's too many broken bricks. You can't build the same house with the broken shit that you're trying to, you know, keep patching the holes.
Yeah, you can't build a life on quicksand.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you started working with your friend and now going deeper, which is generally the dark night of the soul, or Saturn return is another common one, where it's the breakdown. We're also going through that right now astrologically. There is alignment that hasn't happened in, 700 years, some of it even more than that. And it has a lot to do with Capricorn, which is, you know, authority. It's also the Emperor in the tarot deck. It's that 4 number. So a lot of structure right now is collapsing under the weight of its own lie, but we're being called not to go into fear and build on a solid foundation, and what that looks like for the individual, which is really why we're so just passionate about True North.
Right.
Like, you have one. Everyone has a divine mission, a divine purpose, and you can build that on a solid 4 foundation. So what does that look like for the individual? And that's why I felt like you were such a, you know, great example, is that you, and Trish as well, you know, taking those steps, no matter how afraid you are, to know that there's something greater than what you're in. There is more to life than, there is a higher life, a highest version, a divine mission to our lives.
Exactly.
And I've seen you do that. Like, it's been fun to watch.
And Kimberly, I got to tell you, I'm a life path 9 and I'm a Libra. So this whole, you know, this period of this last decade, which there's no coincidence that we're now in 2020. So the past 10 years for me, the past decade has been a lot of growth, figuring out who I am truly as a person, and realizing I don't have to count on anyone else but myself. So I'm
standing on your own 2 feet.
I'm coming into that Capricorn authority, you know, that of my own, in my own self, in my own awareness. But it's taken me 10 years.
Well, the last 10 years was very much about Scorpio. So Scorpio is dark, and it really went in there for everyone planetarily. It was all very much about doing the dark work of Scorpio.
And my Mars is in Scorpio, so I
my
feel
Neptune
that.
is.
So I feel that. Like I knew, even though it was hard and twisting myself and kind of like, oh, this is uncomfortable, and but yet I still kind of embraced it, knowing like this is for deeper transformation. Right. You know what I mean?
That is Scorpio.
Did you feel just a weird dichotomy of how can I be in so much, I guess, perceived agony, or sadness or like whatever, and joy at the same time? Like,
yes. And
this element of joy of knowing that I'm like coming into myself in and amongst the pain. Like it was weird simultaneous.
Exactly. But see, then my Libra Virgo mind is, I'm so in my head all the time that sometimes, that would overpower me as far as like analysis paralysis or overthinking, think, always in my mind, think. So there were many, many, many times when I was so in my head, those moments seem fleeting, but there's still something underlying that knew, girl, something is going to come out of this.
Yeah, keep going.
Now, I was working through and coming to understand that I had CPTSD, so I was learning I'm a freeze, fight, fawn. So that freeze, I'm very good at looking like I'm here, but I'm up here. I'm disconnected, disassociated, and then kind of that people pleasing, codependent, and then I get poked enough, and then I want to fight, and then I feel terrible about it, so I cry and I fawn. Like, so understanding my trauma responses was huge for me during this last 10 years of my life. I was coming, and it's no coincidence that I work with horses and helping humans move through trauma, because I was moving through my own.
Right.
And that's another thing about True North, is that it is about self-responsibility. Yes, I can look at things that happened and I can say, okay, that did happen, and I wasn't, it's not like I was like, hey, traumatize me.
Right.
But because of my lack of emotional regulation skills and my lack of understanding and lack of emotional literacy, quite frankly, I would find myself in just this turbulent mess. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter what anybody else did. It was me having to learn about myself and understanding how to emotionally regulate. What are my trauma responses? So that for me is really True North, is getting in there and bushwhacking that trail every day, no matter how hard it is. In the last 10 years, I think we can all relate to the fact that it like, there are days like the world is an insane asylum and I've got a room in it.
Yes.
Sometimes I thought it was the landlord.
No crap. I've spent, I can remember vivid times just like, praying to be taken away, or laying in a like comatose ball, like going, just feeling. Like, is this real? Like, but it was, it was also like, I could feel it, like disassembling what, the paradigm of who I thought I was, who I thought I should be, who, my role in life as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, as a sister, disassembling all these paradigms and all this social conditioning. But that takes a lot of time.
Like falling off.
Yes, but that, think about how many years that took you to, be, that Disney princess, in your head. It takes some time to disassemble it as well.
Sure. Yeah. And childhood, I happen to think right now on the planet, there are people that have no idea that they're living in trauma, that they were traumatized. And so they look like an adult, but behind is very much a child that's wounded. And I've been guilty of that. And so saying no more, no more. I choose love. How do I get there? How, and not giving up, not giving up. Cause like I said, you know, I felt like, yeah, I've got a room in the insane asylum, and okay, I'm just accepting that, but there's work to do. And like you said, some days just in fetal position. And for me, like sometimes it hasn't just been a day. It's been, you know, yeah. And I think that having animals really helps. Something outside of yourself that you have to care for definitely helps.
And for me, that was like, is having children. Like on the days where it's like, there's no way I can get out of bed, you have to. You are taking care of other human beings. You don't have a choice. You must get out there and, you know, help them survive. So there is truth to that, whether it's animals or children, or, you know, or, you know, but because you love them and you care about them and they love you, but you still have to put on a brave face and a happy face, even when you're feeling, you know, all this adversity and all this, and, you know, out of alignment and, you know, and that's another thing about being a female and being a mother. You know, you're expected to do. Yeah, you're expected to. And you know, you can only do that for so long until you have a friggin' mental breakdown. You know what I mean? It's like we're all, and that's another paradigm that's put on us, that we're supposed to be these perfect, strong people that never break down. And oh, they've got it. They're fine. They don't need assistance. They don't need help. They don't need an ear. They don't need this, that, and the other thing. They're strong. They got it. That's not true. No one's like that.
Yeah. You know, the best thing that my ex-husband ever said to me, and it was a couple years after we were divorced, and I was going through some stuff with my parents, because my parents were just in their own shit. You know, they were very selfish. They didn't really realize how to do life, and they didn't have a mindset to treat me very well. But he said to me one time, he says, I am so sorry that everybody in your life, and he said, including me, sees you and has always seen you as so capable. He says, because nobody ever knows when you need help.
And that's the thing with emotional literacy that I've learned, is I can look back throughout my life and realize, well, of course, nobody would have thought there was a problem.
Right.
Because you just put on, don't need help, you're fine, you got this.
Yep.
You know, Trish and I are both Leos. So
we both came into the planet into incubators.
Yeah, we both spent the first, you know, so I had attachment trauma from a very early age, and just kind of learned to suck it up. Grew up on a ranch, and it was like, quit crying, I'll give you something to cry about. So I just learned to push emotions down and then act like everything, like there were no problems. So I didn't learn emotional literacy, or even how to ask for what I wanted. I didn't know what I wanted.
Right. How would you know? How would you know when you're just in survival mode? How could you ever know?
That's right.
When you're just trying to survive and trying to not get hit, or not get in trouble, or not get cussed at, or, you know what I mean? How could you ever know?
Yeah.
Right. So how did it start shifting for you?
What's that?
How did it start shifting for you? Like, what started?
For me?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was when, you know, I started to look at my self-value and my self-worth, and realize that I've pushed my strengths down to suffice for other people. And I've done that for a very long time. And so they were so buried that I got to a point, you know, a deep, dark spot of, I'm not going to let my fucking light dim for anybody ever anymore. And if you don't like it, then F off, because I'm sick of being little for you or you or you or you. I'm not going to be little anymore. And that's when I started to come alive again.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Because of the package that, well, we're not really on a package. We're on the free Zoom. We've got about 10 minutes left. So I know that Trish and Liv both have a couple things that they need to go off and do. So do we want to like put an end to this one and maybe have a part 2 another time, or do we want to, go on and do another Zoom right after this and keep going? I don't know where everybody's schedule.
I'd love to do a part 2 with you, Liv, because I know we have much more to hear from you.
Yes.
Figure out in 10 minutes how you want to like get to the transition point, like, because I want to be able to like have a breaking point and start off in the yummy stuff.
Yeah, okay, so we'll just go right into a part 2 after this, then we'll just get it done, and I know that you guys have stuff to do, but we do have a little bit more time. So yeah, let's kind of wind down the tool part, and then I want to get into this, like Trish said, the yummy part of what you've got going on now, because it's just fun, and I know that you're passionate about it and so excited about it.
Yeah.
So let's continue with the tools and kind of working up to where you are now.
Okay. So you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I realized I'm not going to be small, I'm not going to be, dim my light for anyone anymore, then I started doing the inner work, right? Like, rewiring the subconscious conditioning and really doing the daily inner work of whether it's, I have a gratitude journal, I visualize, I, listen to podcasts, whether it's, positive self-talk, whether it's planning out my week, planning out my year, and visualizing and trusting. I'm a universe girl. I believe in, I don't discredit any religion or any gods or anything like that, but I know, because I've seen it happen, when you do the self-work and you put into visualization and trust the universe, things happen all the time. Synchronicities happen all the time. So I knew that, like, on a daily basis. So I had a trust, right? I had an inner trust, even though I was in this dark space, that the universe is conspiring for me. So I need to do the personal work to let my abundance come. And also what I've learned is by helping others see the light within them, everything amplifies tenfold for you in incredible ways. So that's where my journey brought me to where I'm at currently.
I love it. And I too have had that experience. For me, it started after my mother died, and my dimensional life opened up, and just so much opened up with understanding and working with energy and my creator, the universe. Right now, and then I'll get ready to start the second Zoom. I will say that what I've noticed in kind of out in the macro right now is starting again this pagan Christian conflict, and which I tell Trish, and I've said this many times, why I love Hypatia, she's my favorite woman in history, is because she got along with pagans and Christians, and she rose above that with philosophy and numerology, numbers, and the stars, and so not buying into really, I suppose, the man-made version of what we're supposed to do with our own spirituality and our own true north.
Well, and the funny thing about it is when because I wasn't raised with religion, but the second I got into college, all I wanted to study was religion, because I was fascinated. Like, why are all these, my family was raised Irish Catholic, but I was not baptized. I was not raised Irish Catholic, but I was interested in like Hinduism and, all the religions. So I dove right in. Well, every religion is a cosmogonic story. It's all man told.
Right.
Every single religion. It's a cosmogonic story. So I found that fascinating.
At the base level, they're all very similar.
Yes.
Like, in the movie Religulous, you realize that he highlights 13 different cultures and dogmas that all have Virgin Mary, the stars,
right.
Everything. You're like, how can that be? It's all about
right.
us.
Yeah, astrotheology was one that I really, became interested in, and just the history of it and the progression. So here we are in 2020, and the hysteria still lives. We do not have to have history or hysteria repeat itself. So I feel like that's why, again, these conversations I love, and I want people to know that, you know, it's just all good. We don't the divide and conquer doesn't appeal to me. It just doesn't appeal to me.
For it.
Do your thing, girl. Do your thing. But don't project onto me or tell me that I'm going to hell because I like to light a candle on the full moon. Like, keep
right.
You can have your devil.
Do your thing. Yes. Do your
I don't.
thing.
I'm not going to hell because I light a candle on the new moon. Now, are there nefarious groups that are using energy? And I kind of got off on a tangent. I love this, but yes, of course. So I feel like we're all kind of going through an occult lesson.
We're all energy. Yes.
Which just means hidden. So these things are hidden in plain sight. So we're at a very interesting time where people are. It's fascinating to me, and so I didn't mean to go off on that tangent.
No, but it's not a tangent. It's not a tangent. It's not a tangent because one of the reasons why I joined the company that I'm with and what I'm doing is because our mindset training and breaking out of the matrix. Excuse me. If you have a company that the training in the back office says breaking out of the matrix 1, 2, and 3. Hi.
Yeah.
Sign me the damn up because that's my jam. Break out of the damn matrix. And I'm like,
my jam. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. That's my jam. On that note, I'll schedule another Zoom right now and let's jump into your jam.
Okay.
All right. Okay. We'll be right back for part 2, everyone. Thank you.